During the raid, 7,049 people were detained, of whom 5,115 were released after questioning. Lithuanians who were arrested were handed over to the organs of the NKVD. According to the findings of the Institute of National Remembrance, 592 Poles never returned home. They were probably murdered and buried in an unknown location. Fleming, the author of James Bond, said that Śmierć was merciful only when he made a mistake or through coincidence. Well, unfortunately, during this crime, there were no mistakes or accidents, but there were no coincidences. According to the findings of the Institute of National Remembrance, the Augustów manhunt was carried out by the forces of the 50th Army of the 3rd Belarusian Front and the 62nd Internal Forces Division of the NKVD. The then authorities wanted to break up and liquidate the troops of the Independence Underground operating on the Polish-Lithuanian border. Partisan units in this area were particularly active, focusing their activities on combating local authorities. By the end of May 1945, in the Suwałki Powiat, 17 out of 18 MO posts had been dismantled, while out of 14 commune boards, only 2 were left active. There was an exceptional cooperation between the civilians of the area with military forces that were based in the forests there. There was great organization there of supplies. In mid-July 1945, Soviet troops carried out a series of arrests of people suspected of having contacts with the partisans, as well as of completely random people. Anyone could be detained. The authorities were satisfied with the simple information that someone was outside their place of residence. Arrests took place at homes, on roads, at work in the fields, and sometimes even entire villages were surrounded. Everything indicates that this is where Stalin was supposed to pass on his way to the Potsdam Conference. Perhaps this factor also played a role. We must remember that Stalin was a paranoid and a criminal. Criminals often, if they get some idea in their heads, they simply eliminate possible threats to their lives or interests. Historians emphasize that the past affects the present, and past events should be considered in the context of those taking place beyond our eastern border right now. Please remember that history repeats itself. Everything comes back around. Let's pay attention to what's happening in Ukraine. Unofficial ceremonies commemorating the victims of communist crimes began yesterday. In the historical reconstruction, the actors of the Grupa East Association acted out scenes of capture, interrogation, and killing, of whom were often bystanders. The Day of Remembrance for the victims of the Augustów Raid falls on July 12th.